Well, they're playing my song now, and they're playing our song. Welcome to Bobby Likis Car Clinic here on Paltalk.com. Glad to have you in the house. And for those of you who have waited around or were here prior to my arrival, I'll share with you some things that I really want to get across today, some latest, greatest information about Chrysler, and it's good news. And, you know, we all could use some good news here. I'll also share with you about the high-speed rail that President Obama bill is proposing. In addition to that, I have award cars, the World Car of the Year, the World Green Car, Design Car, and the World Performance Car. And I'm not crazy about the World Performance Car. If it's typical of what Nissan does, well, yeah, it's a Nissan GTR. The challenge with Nissan, and I've never driven a GTR, nor have I listened to the exhaust, but I will tell you, it's been my experience that Nissan is kind of boring. And hey, if you drive one, that's cool. You know, I'm not slamming your Nissan, but a high performance car, when you crank up a Viper with 10 cylinders, you know it's there, right? And even a Corvette, and even a Mustang. Has that unique stainless steel exhaust. Mustang, you can close your eyes, I mean, if you're a car guy, and you can tell when Mustang goes by. Ferrari has its own unique sound, and Porsches as well. And on the racetrack, guess which cars made the most noise in Avon Park down there, and that's and the racetrack, and that's the Mazda, the rotary engines. I mean, you can have a Formula One or open wheel car running 230 miles an hour, and that Formula One engine is turning, 14, 15, 18, 19. Now they turn 19.5 thousand RPMs. Unbelievable. And all of a sudden you hear this god awful noise that's, I mean, it's that loud, and it's a little, I don't know how little they are, but it's a little Mazda. And they really do fly. They have a rotary engine. I'm speaking of the rotary engines are loud. There's a record incentive for feedback on 20% of the sticker price for kickbacks if you buy a new car. So I'll share that with you so I can get that out of the way. Put your hand up, and I will take your call. Or let's see, we don't have any hands up yet, but we do have some cams up. So cams up, hands up. I'm Bobby Likis again. Welcome to Bobby Likis Car Clinic. Chrysler Group, and this is the true cost of incentives for the big six manufacturers. So if you hear that someone's going to give a $2,000 discount or a $5,000 discount, here's the true cost. Chrysler Group, $5,500. They lead the top with $5,566, and that's a monthly record from Chrysler. Ford, $3,400 and some change. General Motors, almost $3,600. Honda, $1,250. So obviously Honda, which is the lowest manufacturer of all, is giving the fewest and the lowest incentives for buying their cars, which means that people are buying their cars, so why would they give away the farm? Nissan, $2,500, and Toyota, $1,700. The industry average is $3,000, $2,900. I've often wondered, I don't know about you, I've often wondered how much profit there is in a new car. I did learn that when Ford first came out with they came out with the Escape, they had the Explorer, they had the Expedition, then they had the Excursion, which is huge. Those vehicles were drawing some ungodly numbers, like 13 grand a pop for the manufacturer. So, and don't quote me on that, but as I remember, that was the figure. It was in the teens. If not in the teens, it was in the high 12s and maybe rolled up to a teen. $1,000 in profit. But if you look at the number of cars that they were selling, 17 million cars a year for so many years, dealerships just got spoiled because they just sat around and took orders. And I'm not slamming against any salesman, because sometimes that's all you can do is make calls and wait on people to come in. Now, especially people have decided not to buy new cars. What about you? Have you decided to keep your car? And if so, and I'll get this a little later in the program as well, how will you address the needs of the car that you drive? Because you know that you've neglected the car long enough that it needs maintenance, needs servicing, and needs some repairs of some kind. There's not a car out there that has 5,000 miles that doesn't need service. At 5,000 miles, the tires need to be rotated. And heads up, tire pressure and alignment and the driving habits dictate how many miles you can go on your tires. And a tire is real simple. It's a patch of rubber that meets contact with the road, and the average car has a 4 size 10.5 man's shoe. That's the size of the patch with the road. So if you got a 4,000-pound automobile, 3,500-pound automobile, and you're running 60 miles an hour, you only have 4 shoes, 4 contacts with the road. And if it's raining, then of course you have hydroplane and you have less friction on a slick road. So there are a lot of things that have to do with traction. And then those same tires, and my point is, when you add pressure to a tire, you push the center of the tire out. Like I'm proud, I got my center pushed out here. When you take pressure away, the tire folds in. And so if you take too much pressure away, you increase the friction because the edges of the tire wear, like my shoulders are humped over now. And if you put too much air in the tire, the center, it gets better gas mileage. It's not as safe, but the center of the tire is pushed out. And so where's the happy medium? Now we get to the root of the real challenge here. Where's the happy medium? Take the factory recommended air pressure and add about 2 to 3 psi. Drive your car 3,000 to 5,000 miles, depending on when you change your oil, and measure the tread depth with a little $2 gauge. These are the least expensive, and they look kind of like a ballpoint pen. They have a little retractable piston, and you just put them on the tire, and it tells you, and check the tire in the center and on the outside and the inside tread. And if you get more wear on the inside and the outside than you do in the center, then you have too little pressure. If you get more wear, if the center of the tread is not as deep as the outside, you're running too much air. So you want to be able to always attempt, and to use the words attempt, because you won't accomplish this. You will not. I mean, I'm a stickler for tire pressure, and I've yet to accomplish this. You always want to err to the high side, so that you would wear the middle of the tire out first. You know why? Because tires don't make air; they leak air. And nitrogen, notwithstanding, that's another. If somebody says, hey, here's some nitrogen, and we're going to fill your tires with nitrogen, that's cool, as long as you don't pay for it. Because the tread temperature of a running temperature of a car on the highway is 190 to 105 degrees, somewhere in that neighborhood. And so the heat inside the tire is not as important as it would be in a race car where you've got 200 plus degrees temperature, and that's why the tire pressure is crucial in race cars, because they add a half psi. Actually, they add a 0.2 of a psi when they're trying to bump that car up and make that car go left a little better than NASCAR guys. So tire pressure is a good way to increase the wear. Decrease the wear and increase the MPG of your automobile. Okay, enough of that. World Car of the Year. This is kind of cool. I see we have Gary had a palm up. I'm going to go to Gary before I tell you about the World Car, the design car, and the green car. I've already told you about the performance car, which is the Nissan. But Gary, glad to have you in the house.